You are gay.
What?
Oh, Uruguay, sorry.
You are gay. Parador, I love you.
You do an Azeroth countdown one time.
Shh, we're starting the show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Turn 87 of A Worthy Opponent. I am one of the three hosts of the show, Black Lace. With me in the studio is Ugly Brute.
Hello from tomorrow morning.
Hello from tomorrow morning. That's right.
Yeah,
You're
it's
tomorrow.
9 o'clock here in Australia.
That means
And
we're
we're
back to the future.
Oh, God. And yes, you've just heard the wonderful voice of Autumn's Bane.
Take the time for an evil laugh after you draw this card.
Kel'Thuzad.
Dr. Boom.
Pyroblast.
Oh, and I know why that happened to you, too.
Pyroblast is a 10 casting cost spell, mage only, that does 10 points of damage. And during beta, it only costs 9.
That's true, because they nerf batted it.
And people were not happy that they
No,
were
nobody's
getting
ever happy.
20 points of damage to the face during the course of a game. Now I don't think anybody plays 2 Pyroblasts anymore.
No, but people still play priests.
I can
Sorry.
guess why you probably like Pyroblast this week, but we'll talk about that during Brawl, I guess.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so since I made a priest comment, I'm going to say one thing about priests. Well, I won't say the many words I would want to say about priests, but I'm going to share 3
Hold
turns
on.
with you guys.
I have to click this button. Profanity filter on.
I'm going to behave. I'm nice and calm now. But as you all know, my love for the priests goes like this. I am playing my rogue. We won't even bother with anything I did during any of the first 3 turns. Turn 1, he plays a Northshire Cleric. It's a 1/3 creature. I watch as he plays his coin. I'm sorry, I had already, done nothing because I couldn't do anything the first turn. So his turn 1 is actually the second turn. So he plays his coin, and he plays Power Word Shield. So now his little 1/3 Cleric is a 1/5. I play another turn. I actually make a little weapon with my 2 mana. Now I can hit him for 1 point. His turn 2. He uses Power Word Shield, which is a 1/7. And then, well, it's not a 1/7, but it makes the 1/3 from a 1/5 to a 1/7. And since it only cost him 1, he has
turn
1
3.
left. Yeah, that was turn 2. He has 1 left, so he doesn't do anything. He just leaves it there. He doesn't heal his point. Okay, I hit him again because I still don't have a card. It's now his turn 3. He now casts a 2 mana Divine Spirit, doubling the health. I mean, mind you, this is only his 3rd time doing anything. And he's now got a 1/14, followed by an Inner Fire. Attack equals health. In his 3rd turn, he has a 14/14 creature. I have a weapon that I just finished using up. And I have a concede button. Do you see where this is going? On to the next thing we're going to talk about, because priests suck.
Wah, wah, wah.
He had what we call a god draw to be able to do that
He
by turn
did.
3.
Oh my God. Turn 3, he had a 14/14 Cleric. I was like, forget it. These are all the reasons I hate playing against a priest. And
Okay,
still
hold on.
have not done it myself.
Profanity filter off.
Did I say any profanity? I think I
Well,
was good.
I think
I
you
had
did,
it.
but it
I
was
had it
filtered.
turned. I had it turned on, so
Oh,
nobody
so
heard
nobody
it.
would notice. I gotcha. All right, so on to Rattlin' Rally, the Innkeeper's Tale. That is going to be spoken to you all about by Ugly Brute, something new that happened this week. And after that, I'm going to talk about the Hearthstone Foundry. So, Ugly Brute, take us through the Innkeeper's Tale.
Yes, some very interesting stuff that's happened this week. With, as everyone knows, last week we were talking about the announcement via PC Gamers for the scroll that they received, talking about the Gathering of Champions and the announcement on the 22nd. Well, I think that the tavern innkeeper, what he has to say this week, definitely adds to it. So I'll just read it. Interestingly enough, this rattling rally tale, innkeeper's tale, is actually called Social Tease #1 Hearthstone. So the Blizzard team deliberately called it a social tease. So they like teasing us, guys.
They do.
Now, should I read this with my own Australian twang, or should I read it as the innkeeper?
Your
Both.
choice.
My choice. Well, both. Okay. Every now and then I'll change.
You'll
So-
be equally unhearable, right?
Just get my Scottish ready.
You have to
We'll start off
spit.
with
He
my
has to
normal voice.
spit a little bit.
You need a spittoon to speak Scottish,
The
or do
inn.
you just use a crocodile's
Come on, I
mouth
want to
open?
hear an Aussie speak Scottish.
Go ahead.
Ugh. The inn is the kind of place that will always welcome anyone and everyone who's willing to play fair and have fun. How's that?
Pretty damn good.
It's
Thank
better
you.
than the Brit that tried to use a southern accent.
I won't even ask you what happened there.
Go on.
Okay, so back to the tale. So we get all sorts here. Still, some crowds leave a real impression. Today was something else. The air was filled with the happy hubbub of folks dueling away and enjoying one another's company, no matter where they hailed from. The funny thing was, most of them were wearing the shiniest armor you ever saw, including the magic using types. We even saw Murlocs all geared up in plate, clanking about like fish smelling mix. I'll never forget the young dwarf lass leading a majestic unicorn around the common room. That seemed to be making the patrons nervous, since getting impaled is usually inconvenient. But they had nothing to worry about. Soon enough, everyone finished their brews, including the unicorn, wrapped up their Hearthstone games, and got back on their journey. It was an inspiring sight, and I admit I was sorry to see him go. I have to wonder where they are headed. Of course, the innkeeper has a knack for putting itself right in the excitement, so I reckon I'll be finding out soon enough. How was that, guys?
That was awesome.
Bad.
Yeah, shut up. It was good.
I think a bit of Australian leaked in. A little bit of Australian leaked in.
A
Well, of
little,
course, like Mel
baby.
Gibson in Lethal Weapon.
But what are your thoughts, guys? Do you reckon this is still? Do you reckon we're still heading towards a hint here of the Argent tournament?
Well, yes, I absolutely do, because the Argent Steed, was that what it was called?
The Cinderai Steed,
Cinderai Steed is a
Was a-
unicorn,
which is the
Ooh, I
only
didn't know that.
unicorn
That's
in the
exciting.
game,
right?
and can only be gotten with the tokens you win at the Argent
Argent
tournament.
Tournament.
It's a
And-
special currency, and it can only be gotten at the Argent tournament.
And the Argent Tournament is jousting, so they're going to wear armor.
And I ride one of those unicorns regularly, but they don't call it a unicorn. They call it a Cinderai Steed.
Hang on, Autumn's man, did you just say that you ride a unicorn regularly?
He did.
My female
You
Draenei
sounded so
character
masculine.
rides.
You sounded so masculine just then.
Hey, I don't have to worry about that. Deep down, everybody
Oh.
knows I'm a wuss. I like puppies and kittens and unicorns, and I'm all right with that.
Guys, I've got to say though, if we were lawyers, we would be able to convince a jury beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Argent Squire is going to be the next release, because the fact
The
that
Argent
that
Squire?
unicorn, the Argent
That'd be a
tournament,
good. That would be a great card. The Argent Squire. There we
the
go.
Argent tournament is going to be the next one, because we're coming up with some pretty solid proof here.
Yeah. We've got
Also, just-
armor. We've got unicorns. We've got yes.
And, did
And
you
then
see
they'll
that
turn
little
around and
elf?
surprise us with an all Murloc expansion.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll have to eat our words. Did you see that little picture of the blood elf blowing the trumpet that they brought out this week as well?
No, I
No.
didn't see that.
Yeah, and the caption for the picture says, "Champions answer the call of those who need aid."
Oh, there you go.
So that's another teaser there, I think.
It's just blunt. It's absolutely blunt here. They're not really teasing. They're saying, "Hey, this is it," without even telling us anything.
Yeah.
So-
and what do you
That
think
makes
about the
sense.
commercials?
So
do you
it'll
think?
be. Okay, go on.
I was just going to say,
Right,
do you
the
think it's a
commercials are.
coincidence that all of the commercials are held in a jousting pit?
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Food for thought, guys.
No, I think that's pushing it. I think that's
Yep.
just the arena where they're playing against each other, you know.
But that's what we did
because
during the Argent tournament. We played in arenas.
no, these commercials, first of all, they started coming out before the news leak. Second of all, when you're playing against somebody in Hearthstone, there is a playing field that's like an arena, just a big dirt pit where you throw your cards. So,
Yeah, that's
as much
true.
as much as I love this conspiracy theory that this is going to be all about Argent tournament, I think that's a piece of evidence you're just pushing too far with.
All right.
Okay, well, we'll leave that piece of evidence out then. But
All right.
have you guys heard about the special announcement for the 22nd as regarding where they're going to announce it?
That was my next thing.
I am sorry. I will let you take it away.
No problem.
News
We're going to
hog,
take it away.
Ugly Brute's a news hog.
A special Hearthstone announcement at the Foundry. And from Blizzard, you are cordially invited to witness a proclamation of grand proportions. Tune in to the official Hearthstone Twitch channel or join us in person at the Folsom Street Foundry. Do not start singing Folsom Prison, please, Autumn's Bane. In San Francisco, California on July 22nd, starting at 2:30 p.m. for very special Hearthstone matches. Shop talk with developers, and one momentous announcement. Gee, I wonder what that could be. Anyway, anyone who wants to go into the official Hearthstone Twitch channel, it's /play Hearthstone in your Twitch. But to keep going, the event will be hosted by Rachel Seltzer, Querico, and it will also feature well-known Hearthstone community members Frodan and Kriparian, along with Frodan. I like Frodan because it's my Frodo, never mind.
Like Woden and Freya combined into one person.
Frodan. Anyway, along with Hearthstone game director Eric Dodds, be sure to keep your eyes open for a few other guests as well. There's no telling what else might be in the cards for this event. If you're thinking of attending in person, consider joining the event page on Facebook to plan your journey now. Space is limited, so get there early. Guests in attendance will be able to pull up a chair and take part in friendly duels of their own, as well as enjoy delicious refreshments after the presentation comes to a close. When? Wednesday, July 22nd. Live stream begins at 2:30 p.m. Pacific DT. What is DT? It's not daylight time?
Date time?
Yes.
PDT.
Pacific Daylight Time.
Yes. Doors open to the public at 2 p.m. PDT, where 1425 Folsom Street Foundry, San Francisco, California. It's sure to be a rousing gathering full of fun and good cheer and exciting news that you won't want to miss. We'll see you there. I really wish I did not have a job and could sit at home and just tune in at 2:30, PDT, and watch and catch this all live. But I can't. So I'll be watching the tweets.
Yeah, it's a good thing that Blizzard has a lot of fans who have gotten rich off of playing their games and can take off time whenever they want to. Or all those college kids who could cut class and watch stuff like this.
But hey, sooner rather than later, I would rather them do it then than wait until the next Saturday or something.
I'm just so glad that everything's going to be streamed on Twitch. It's in Australia. You don't get to go to any of these events, so you get a bit, you get jealous and also excited for the people who do get to go. But to be able to watch these things live on Twitch is really great for anyone who can't be in San Francisco for the event.
Well, we here in Vermont can't get to San Francisco either.
Yeah, it's kind of like 2,000 plus miles away.
But the airfare
But
is
anyway.
probably slightly cheaper than from Sydney.
Slightly.
Probably.
Slightly.
So yeah, Wednesday, July 22nd. Be there and get the lowdown before we do, because we're gonna be stuck at jobs.
Or
But
watch
anyway,
it afterwards.
that's true. Another
You know
thing
what?
that
You don't have to watch it. Just watch Twitter. Because
Yes,
everybody there
that's
is
what
going
I
to have their
said.
phones out, tweeting like crazy.
Exactly. I will be watching the tweets from work. That I can do. WoW also released a trailer that was pretty cool for the movie that's coming out, and if anybody wants to see it, it's kind of a I wouldn't call it live action. What is it called when you can steer?
360?
Let's rephrase what you said. It's not a movie trailer.
It's not a movie trailer. It's
Rumors
flying
have been
over.
going around that there's a trailer for the movie. There's no such trailer.
I didn't mean
no
trailer.
exists. I'm
It's
just setting everyone straight.
A little live stream kind of thing, as if you're flying over
It's
Azeroth.
a render. It's a 3D
Yes.
render.
At GeekTyrant.com.
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear it.
How do you spell that?
GeekTyrant.com, because I know what you meant, but I'm not going to spell that because I have no idea. All right, so passing on to something new. Let's talk about the Brawl. This week's Brawl.
Yeah.
Did it wow you, Autumnsbane?
Didn't wow me, but a number of events transpired which were pretty close to wowing.
I thought it would wow you.
First of all, it was hands down the best one so far. Second of all, I actually played 10 times, which is more than I played all the others combined.
Oh, and you said you'd never play more than one and couldn't concede.
Right.
Yeah.
Guess
see?
how many of those 10 games that I played that I won?
I'm going to say 10.
We lost Black Lace.
9. No, it's 9. I knew it. I had the answer.
Oh, okay. Well, yes. Since you
wasn't
had
gonna
the
cheat.
answer, it was 9. I won 9 out of 10 games. I don't remember the last time any deck. I got 7 straight wins, then a loss, and then the rest were wins. And why was I doing this? Because I kept getting quests that were cast so many spells or play so many mage decks. So since I knew the deck was working for me, and I knew it would apply toward my quests, I just kept playing. And
So you played the mage.
I played a mage, because to me, when it says summon a minion every time you cast a spell, to me that says mage. It was a no-brainer to me. And I was facing priests and shaman and druids. I didn't see any hunters. I didn't see any warriors. So at least people had the idea right. It should be some kind of caster. I faced warlocks. I didn't concede to anyone, not even the priests that I played, and I played at least 3 of them. And I just kept winning and winning and winning. I lost to another mage.
Ah, okay.
So mage was the way to go. And if you had more wins playing something else, then good on you. But I think I was at about 6 wins when I tweeted the picture, and somebody actually responded that they thought it was a fun game and asked if we streamed it. And no, I did not stream it, but the deck is there on Twitter if anybody cares to look at it. And I'm not the type of person that usually shares my decks because they usually suck, but this thing is just like,
oh boy,
90% win rate. That it just blew my mind that I could win that much. So replay value was big because, you know, there are decks that you play just for fun, and the first one had its flaws, the next one had its flaws, and the web spinners were a little bit more fun than the first 2, but this one was just great. You cast spells, you get minions. So there was enough RNG to keep it interesting, yet enough planning and strategy that you actually had some control over the game. I enjoyed it, and I spoke to a few people who thought that this was also hands down the best one yet. What did you guys think?
I liked it as well. I enjoyed the challenge of trying to figure out, which spells are going to give you really strong minions when they summon minions. But out of curiosity, Autumn's Bane, what do you think was some of the key factors to your deck that gave you such a high win rate?
Well, I didn't really, and this was my bad, but it didn't seem to hurt me. I didn't really concentrate on the aspect of the minion you get is the same casting cost as the spell you're casting. I didn't concentrate on that. Instead, I concentrated on the spells I put in the deck. So I put a whole crap load of secrets in there because secrets are fairly low casting costs. There are a bunch of decent 3 casting cost minions in the game, and the traps were helping me win. It was countering people's spells, it was making duplicates, it was misdirecting spells to other targets. There's a lot of utility in traps, and in a regular game you can't play that many traps because you have to put minions in. But in this deck,
secrets,
you didn't have
Mr.
to
Hunter.
Yes, secrets. I said traps. In this game, the way it was, this brawl, you didn't need to put in minions. I put 2 minions in my deck. Guess what they were?
Well, hopefully it wasn't Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Nope. Too long.
No.
Mana worms.
Oh,
Which
yes.
Which get bigger
get
with the
pumped.
spell you
Of course.
cast. Since all I'm doing is casting spells, some of them got quite big. And here's something interesting. I had a Pyroblast go off twice. Only twice during all of that. And there's not a lot of 10 casting cost minions out there. So first I get a Deathwing, and my opponent concedes. In fact, no fewer than 3 or 4 players conceded before we were anywhere near the end of the game. And the second time I got one of the giants.
Back
Awesome.
to Ugly Brute. What did
But
you
I was
think?
just-
What did you
well, I was
play?
just-
And one more
I was
thing
actually-
before
I
I
played
turn it
Druid.
over to Black Ugly Brute is that the battle cries don't go off. So sometimes that was frustrating, but sometimes that was very good. So Deathwing did not destroy all my minions. Just had a nice meaty 12-12 out there. So go on Ugly Brute.
That's okay. I was just going to say, you know how I asked you if you had Sorcerer's Apprentice in your deck?
Yeah.
The reason I asked that is because a lot of people made the mistake in the brawl of putting the Sorcerer's Apprentice in. Have a guess what happens to your minion if you play a Sorcerer's Apprentice?
Um.
Well, Sorcerer's Apprentice takes 1 mana cost off your spells, right?
Right. So that
Sorcerers. Yes.
yeah.
So that
that
means
your
Any
spells aren't
spell
as
that you
powerful.
played, exactly. Any spell that you played a weaker minion.
Right.
So you got a wisp.
Exactly.
A lot of
Exactly.
wisps. A lot of
So-
wisps and target dummies out there.
Yeah, I don't think it took people long to realize to take the Sorcerer's Apprentices out of their brawl decks.
Yep.
But you know what
So,
was really good in a brawl deck?
What?
I didn't follow Autumn's Bane's way of thinking. I like dancing outside the box. So I played a rogue. And I won my first game. And I made sure I had knife jugglers out there. Because if I cast a knife juggler and I'm casting spells, each time I cast a spell, what is happening? A creature's hitting the board. And what does my knife juggler do? Shoots at my opponent. So I went up against a mage the first time and I obliterated him. It was pretty cool. That was my first game, got my pack right away. I'll talk about the rest of what happened to me after Ugly Brute is finished speaking.
Yeah.
Oh, that's I don't have much to say, to be honest. The only thing actually, my things to say about the brawl are for embarrassing moments, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
But,
We'll save
I'll
that
tell
for
you
the
what,
end.
Just one quick thing that's interesting regarding brawls, though, is Ben Brode this week confirmed on Twitter that the most popular brawls, so interestingly, he said only the most popular brawls, will be seen again in the future.
So we'll probably see this one.
Yeah. I don't know who decides which ones are the popular ones, but apparently
They
the
have
good
the
ones are going to
numbers.
come back.
They have the numbers. They know how many times people replayed and how many
that's how they'll
times
do it,
people
yeah.
just said, "Screw this, I'm not doing it again."
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
And they can go further. They could say, this many more games were played after the pack was won. This other person played 10 games but quit as soon as he got his pack. You know, they know what's popular. They can tell. Every number you could think of is at their disposal.
But I
Yeah,
do want
it'll be. Sorry, you
ahead.
go, Black Lace.
No. Keep. I don't want to jump off to some other subject in the brawl. So what were you going to say?
I was just going to say I'd love to have access to some of those numbers that Blizzard have, behind the scenes.
Sometimes they disclose them. They've done it before, so hopefully they'll do it again.
Now that Blacklace mentions it, I did play against one rogue. And you're right about the knife jugglers. I saw several of those popping up.
Okay. I'm sorry. I got off guard from something in the chat room. I'm sorry. So my brain doesn't hover very long on one subject to another. Going back to the brawl, Moogle Charm, I have to throw out a bravo, hats off to Moogle Charm, because he challenged me. And I won't even say it was because I worked a 10-hour day and was like, all I wanted to do was go to sleep. I accepted the challenge. He destroyed me with his druid deck. He literally pummeled me. I couldn't keep up. The first game I played, he went through it so quickly. I was like, forget this. I lost. I was like, I know I was going to go to bed, but hey, I want to play one more time. Halfway through the game, I conceded and said, look, I just can't do it. Can't keep up. The deck was too powerful. It was beautiful. He had Power of the Wilds going out. He started out with Innervates, which would give him 2 more mana. So for a 0, he would get his Wisp, and he'd get 2 more mana. So he'd have 3 to start with, and then a coin or something. And so he had, 4 or 5 creatures coming out that were 5 casting costs in the second turn. And I mean, Mark of the Wild, Soul of the Forest, Death Rattles that turned into Treants, and he literally walked all over me. He had the best druid deck I think could be imagined for this brawl. So I wanted to say hats off to Moogle Charm. Thanks for the challenge. Yeah, you killed me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
Anything
heard
else?
that.
You killed
I heard
me.
the
It was a
druids
lot
were
of fun.
Well, hey, sometimes I can be a good loser.
You went la 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 all over your face.
Pretty much.
Did you squelch him?
I did not. I don't
Well done.
squelch my friends. Boy, what kind of a question is that? All right. So anything else to say about Brawl before we move on to the next topic?
Well,
No.
it's going to be hard for them to top this one, at least for me.
Mhm. I don't know. This is only the 3rd week.
I know. It's going to be like cardbacks. We're going to have a bunch that are okay, and some that are really great, and some that are really sucky. We've had a nice mix so far.
Yeah, I think that there's more to come, guys. With being Blizzard, I'm sure every week they're going to wow us, and we're going to say, they're going to be hard to top that one, but they'll do it somehow.
Right.
Every game they put out goes through this. They experiment, they iterate, they put things out that people hate, and then they adjust it, and then they make things better. It's it's a process.
Right.
Hey, guys, I just thought of something. Do you remember when Goblins and Gnomes was coming out? Do you remember they said, hey, guess what? You can play with these cards now in Arena. Do you remember that?
Mhm.
I do.
This might be a great platform for them to promote as well. Like when it gets closer to the release, maybe they can say, hey, guess what, guys? We're going to throw some of these cards into a brawl this week.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would
That would
be
be
cool.
really cool.
And by the way, it wasn't just the arenas that they were throwing those cards in.
Oh, that's right. The web spinner situation.
The random effects were occurring where, if something summoned a random minion of a certain power, I got that King of Beasts out that time.
Yeah.
Before
and I'm
it
like,
was ever
what
released.
the hell is this?
All right. How much gold are you up to, Honest Vein?
How much gold? I'm up to 955 gold.
Nice. I'm at 645. I've got 2 quests left to finish tonight, so I should be in the 750 range. What about you, Ugly Brute? Are you
He's
saving your gold?
broke.
I'm very good at spending my money. I have got 85 gold.
Woohoo! Stop buying your packs, you silly thing.
No, he's gonna just buy them with cash.
Yeah.
Following Micmac's shoes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's time for embarrassing moments in Hearthstone. I didn't have any this week. I tried. I even played a game right before this podcast, and I didn't play a lot this week, so I didn't have any embarrassing moments, but I know Ugly Brute did.
I did, and both of them were in Brawl actually. So the first one was I decided to play Druid. I thought, Druid's got some good spells, so I'm going to go with Druid. But one of the spells that I picked was Poison Seeds. And I thought to myself, you know what? Poison Seeds is going to give me a 6 mana cost minion. This is going to be awesome. So I finally got the chance to play it, and do you know what happened? I got my awesome 6 mana cost creature on the board.
And then it turned into a
And then
2/2.
it turned into a 2/2.
Oh no!
It turned
So
into a
I
little
had to-
dress.
I had to take that
Oh,
out
God.
after that. I didn't think that one through, guys.
That's too funny.
Yeah, I'll tell you something else about this brawl. Watching the way the effects of cards take place was strange. I was seeing card combinations I had never seen before, where minions would vanish or spells would be cast and then minions would appear and like, oh, that took place first. Well, that's surprising. And I can't remember the circumstances of which cards they were, but it had a few, oh, that's interesting moments, like yours would have been.
Well,
Yeah,
oh
you're
no,
right, 'cause-
I guess I have a technical in Brawl. You might consider this a embarrassing moment. Was that I was considering my weapons as casting a spell, and it's not. So if I would put a weapon up, I wouldn't get credit for a spell.
That's
No,
funny. So
weapons are not spells.
Right. So I mean, I had put those in my deck and kind of screwed up a little bit that way. So
So that was it. That was embarrassing for you.
That
It
would be,
didn't
yes.
embarrass you in front of your opponent or anything, but it was embarrassing for you.
like, oh crap, I just screwed that one up. Yes, should have put
But
spells.
getting on to what Autumnsbane said, I agree. I actually chose Poison Seeds because I thought I was going to get my 6 mana minion after the Poison Seeds effect, but it turned out that the game gave me my minion first, and it was kind of embarrassing to have that happen in front of an opponent. But I learned quickly from it anyway. Put it that way.
Did you
Yeah,
take it right
because-
out of your deck?
You do
I did
cast the
immediately,
spell
that was-
first.
Yeah, I thought the spell would go off first, but it actually cast the minion first. My second mistake was very similar. My second embarrassing moment was very similar to Autumnsbane's from last week. Autumnsbane was talking about how he got a Hoffer off a animal companion, I think it was, and then he wasn't able to play it because he pressed end turn. Well, I had the
Mhm.
same thing where I played a spell, and the spell gave me a charge minion. I can't remember now which charge minion it was, but it gave me a charge minion, and I automatically pressed end turn. I went, no, facepalm myself because I didn't use the charge minion.
Oh, you could have hit him in the face.
Exactly, but
Oh.
didn't.
Yeah, we gotta slow it down a little bit on those end turn buttons. I'm trying to do that myself. I like playing fast. I just do. That's why that card that you got to finish your turn in 15 seconds. I love that card because I hate sitting around waiting for somebody to take their turn.
Exactly. Actually, I was talking to a streamer once. His name's Pawnyhoff, and I said to him, "What would be your number one piece of advice for a new player in Hearthstone?" And do you know what he said?
What's that?
He said, "Play slow."
I can't.
I know, me either.
Oh.
Well, it's kind of annoying. I played against somebody today who waited to the last second to do everything. He waited to the last second to mulligan. He waited to the last second to cast spells and minions until like the fuse appeared. And then boom, there was a flurry of activity. And it just drove the game on and on. And that's the one downside to the brawls as well. I may have won 9 out of 10 games, but oh man, what long games they were.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you've only got like 2 cards in your hand, going to the rope is a bit rough, a bit much. It's almost like someone's trolling you if they go to the rope on the first few turns. But I think if you've got 10 cards in your hand, or you've got a lot of cards in your hand, or a lot happening on the board, I do think you really are wise to take your full turn up.
Nate, think about it for a while.
Yeah, and I do see
Yeah.
a lot of players who, when their hand is full, they take a long time. But as the game starts to ramp up and they have fewer cards, they pick up speed. But yeah, I think we've proven to ourselves that taking your time definitely has its advantages. Um, other than pissing off your opponent, which is sometimes an advantage.
All right. Ugly Brute, you had was that it for the? I know nobody sent us emails, unfortunately, about embarrassing moments.
They must have
Hopefully,
been too embarrassing.
yeah. Hopefully, they will send us emails on embarrassing moments. And nobody let me play with their deck this week either.
That's
kinda
okay.
depressed.
I'm sure that they'll let you play with their decks in future episodes.
They were too busy brawling.
Yeah, but you know. All right, fine. Send me your decks. I want to play with your decks.
It's
I can't play with
summertime.
people's
People are
decks. It's
having
depressing.
fun.
It's fun playing with people's decks. Okay, enough of that. Ugly Brute tournament.
Yes.
You have updates on not our tournament, but tournaments that are out there.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying this Archon Team League that we spoke of last week. That's continuing on this week. So far in the lead, as we said, there's it's team focused, so there's teams. Foursome Boys and Team Nylum.
Did you
They're
just say
coming first.
foreskin boys?
Foursome.
Oh, I'm sorry.
would
Must
be
have been the
better.
accent.
That would be better. Yeah, no. Foursome Boys and Nylum are in the lead there with 12 wins each. Now, the player that I was rooting for this week and really was watching was Savitz. Have you guys heard of a player called Savitz?
No.
Wow, it's really coming down with some heavy rain here. Is it coming through, you guys? I'm sorry if it is, but if you
No.
can't hear it, that's good. Oh, excellent.
What's heavy rain to you in Australia? Is it like rainforest rain or just
Rainforest rain. I'm getting rainforest rain right now.
Well, I hope you can swim during the podcast, but please continue.
But anyway, Savitz is the one that I followed this week, and he's a very popular streamer. And he played Druid for it this week. Now, what are your guys' thoughts on Druid? Do you like playing Druid?
I like Druid.
I play it on occasion. It's not one of my. I can't stand playing that type of decks, but I don't play it often.
I went through a stint of playing Druid, and I had more wins with it than losses. I enjoyed it. But then I switched over to some other classes for a reason, but it's in my top half.
Okay,
I would say that
good.
too.
That's good. I like Druid as well. But amongst the top players, though, they're starting to say now that Druid's very inconsistent. If you don't get those early cards like Innovate and Wild Growth, then you can get very far behind on the board. And now I've got to say, poor old Savitz lost all 5 games this week in the tournament. Didn't win one. His first game was against Ecop, who played a warrior. Now, even though Savitz got early innovates on turn 4, he was able to put out Thorazin. And Ecop never got one weapon the entire game as a warrior. Not one weapon turned up out of his deck. So
That sounds like my first arena match.
You'd think that
you were a hunter without any beasts.
No, my second one was a warrior with no weapons.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sorry. You go ahead.
You'd think that Savitz was going to win that, with that great early start and Ecop not getting any weapons. But unfortunately, as soon as those Grim Patrons hit the board, Savitz just had no answer for them, and they wiped him out. So he lost that game, and then his second game was against Colento, who was playing one of Black Lace's favorites. He was playing the Rogue. And in that game, he actually made, in my humble, casual opinion, he made a mistake because the only thing that Colento had on the board was an SI7 agent, and Savitz actually played a Brawl to get rid of it. Now, with Brawls, sorry, did I say Brawl? I meant to say Swipe, sorry.
You said Brawl.
I meant to say
Swipe.
Swipe.
Oh, okay.
He played a Swipe to
a
get
Brawl
rid of
would have been a really stupid move.
Yeah. Well,
Actually, it would have
SI7
been a
is
brilliant
just
move.
is a
Who would have
3/3.
expected it? Who would have expected it? Yeah, exactly.
It's a 3/3 that already would have done his damage.
Yeah, he played a Swipe against this SI7 agent, and that's a big mistake, really, against the Rogue, because Rogues like to play Violet Teachers, which give them heaps of 1/1 minions, and that's exactly what Colento did. As soon as he saw that Swipe was off the board, Kalento played his Violet Teachers, stacked them up with tokens, and then he was just able to destroy Savitz. So Savitz lost that match through a mistake. The third game was against Kalento's Freeze Mage. Now, normally Druids are heavily favoured against Freeze Mage. And he got a great start again. He was able to silence Kalento's Mad Scientist. He was able to silence Kalento's Doomsayer. He even, get this, on turn 7, he had Kalento down to 1 health and popped his Ice Block as well. So Kalento had no Ice Block protection for the next turn. But for the next 3 turns, Kalento was able to freeze him so he could do nothing. And then he got Alex Straza and was able to re-heal himself. And then he killed Savitz with 2 fireballs. So poor old Savitz was just having absolutely no luck during this tournament.
Yeah, I think I know why he swiped it, though.
Oh,
Why?
the SI7 agent?
Yeah, I think I know why he swiped it. Because rogues have a tendency of drawing cards back to their hand. And it's not just a 3-attack minion, it also does an additional 2 damage.
It does 2 damage. So you think he was going to probably bring it back and play it again. That's possible. There's always... And you were watching this, and it would have been obvious if there was a mistake this way. I just thought of another thing that went wrong this week. I meant to bring a card back to my hand. So sometimes I drag it into the middle of the board. And if you let go accidentally, it casts the card. And I meant to bring it back into my hand, and I let go too soon, so it cast it. So people should use Escape. If you don't want to use that card and want to make sure that card doesn't go off, hit Escape. It'll drop it off of your little cursor.
Oh, that's a good little tip.
Sounds like an embarrassing moment.
Yeah, you should have mentioned that.
I guess I did have more than I realized. But, I mean, something like that could have happened to Kalento, but I think it would have been more obvious. And not Kalento.
Savitz.
But I think it would have been obvious.
Just one last thing, just to add, you could imagine how salty he must have felt by then, because, he lost those 3, 2 of which he was probably going to win, except for the fact that his opponents got the best draws they could have got. But in his 4th game against Strifecrow put 2 Knife Jugglers on the board that Savitz couldn't get rid of. And then, let me tell you, those Knife Jugglers were so precise with their strikes. They took out his entire board. They didn't hit his face once. So poor old Savitz just lost all of his
pure luck
minions.
with the RNG.
I know. So Gara and Savitz are the only 2 so far to have the honour of losing 0-5 in the competition.
Oh,
Yeah, that you could be
that
the
hurts.
best player in the world, but there's no accounting for bad luck and
Right.
that bad RNG. Today I had a Raven Holt. You know the guy? He's like 7/7 or something like that,
the
and
stealth
he's stealth. Yeah, let's see if I can find him here. But my opponent played him, and I was using my Paladin Dragon deck. He's a 7/5 with stealth, and I cast Avenging Wrath, which does 8 damage. So it was just him and his opponent, and only 4 of them managed to hit it. So he had 1 health left, and so he then doubled his health and attacked me for 14, and it was game over. But yeah, that RNG. So getting lucky with those arcane missiles and avenging wraths and knife jugglers. I've seen people I
Even
could swear they're telling those missiles where to go. Like, how could he be, as you said, that precise? I especially like doing them with minions that have the divine shields, because it'll pop the shield off and then kill it. But
yeah, exactly.
Those are always fun cards, but the RNG could go against you, and it sounds like it didn't for this caster. It went pretty well.
Do you know what else is really interesting about this tournament? They've got a female professional player in it.
Nice.
Yeah, her name's Eloise, and she plays for Tempo Storm. And I was really surprised. I tweeted to Raynad, who owns the team, and said, I'm really proud of you that you're so diverse with your players, and you've got Eloise on your team. And he sent one back saying thank you. So I was not really glad to hear back from him.
Nice.
But
were these people present that you could see what they looked like? They weren't just behind screens?
No, they were streamers. They were professional players, and you could see their from their webcams. They were playing from their homes, but you could see them on their webcams.
So you could see that the female was a female.
Yeah, she actually looks like a porcelain Chinese doll.
Aw.
I think so. Anyway, she looks like something
Oh,
out of Hello Kitty.
So she's Asian.
Yeah,
Oh.
she is. Yeah, and she's a good player. She won a few of her games. I was really enjoying watching.
There's something about, and this is.
Are you
it's
sure you're
more-
going to want to say this?
Yeah. I'm gonna say it. It's especially true with StarCraft, but these Asian players, they really have this grip on Blizzard games. They just do so well. If you look at all kinds of Blizzard games and the tournaments, that they have Blizzard releases in Korea and China, and they have quite a bunch of fans there, whereas certain other parts of the world maybe not so much. It's just interesting to me demographically that there's such a huge Asian population of players who don't just love Blizzard games, but they're
Excel
so
at
good
them.
at it. Because
Yeah.
there was the first, I won't call her pro player, but pro level player. She was actually at BlizzCon, and every time I heard her name, I always thought she was a guy until I saw her on the screen. She was playing with Trump. Do you remember Black Lace? Last BlizzCon? I can't remember her name.
They were partners up there, but
Yeah,
everything
and
he was saying, she was coming up
yeah,
against him.
she was beating him up
Oh,
pretty
Yeah.
bad
was
verbally.
that Hafu?
That's it, Hafu.
That's it. Yep.
I never
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
Hafu was a female, so I'm really excited to see just like you, to see females making an appearance in this game.
Right, because I don't
Exactly.
ever play it.
But the reason I brought up the whole Asian thing is I will be surprised the first time I see an American or a European female really taking to the top, because it always seems to be the Asian community that does. So anyway, just yes, and somebody else said Hafu too, but please continue. That was just an observation.
I've got one question for you guys. Something that I've been thinking about for a while. Before I played Hearthstone, I used to love playing chess. I still do love playing chess, but with chess, the world champions are actually in their 30s and 40s. Now, Hearthstone is not an action game. It's not a game where you have to have a lot of actions per minute. So, why do you think it is that some of our top players are not of a similar age to these top chess champions? Why do you think it is that we don't have a lot of top Hearthstone players in their 30s and 40s?
Jobs.
Yeah, that's probably it. Do you think eventually though, when people like Kalento and Strifecrow, and like when they actually get into their 30s and 40s, do you think they're still going to be at the center of playing this game?
I don't know, but you'll notice a lot of those players who are now like running teams and doing casting, they're not
Yep.
playing because they probably don't have the time to invest in the hours and hours and hours it takes to keep building decks and getting their way up the ladder.
Well, that's true. I was thinking too. Take for example chess, which has been around forever. It's got a lot of corporate sponsorship, so we're talking millions of dollars for tournaments. Do you think eventually Hearthstone, because of it's enjoyed by such a wide demographic, do you think it's eventually going to get those kind of sponsors?
Your guess is as good as mine, but apparently when you see these tournaments giving out hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's already starting.
Yeah, and that's why I think maybe there's a possibility that some of these players might stick around and become our champions of the future in their 30s and 40s.
Could be. So we're going to move on to emails now.
Thank you. We have 2 emails from the same person, and as the hour is starting to roll up here, I'm going to read them, but we're only going to give about 5 minutes attention to each one. So I'll read it fast. And it's thank you to Aquila for sending us the emails. The first one is, are you prepared to pay the price? Hi guys, in the words of the mighty Coltrane, I have a question, and my question is this: how important is it to you to get better at Hearthstone? I mean, how prepared are you to pay the price to get better? Would you, for instance, stick with one deck until you understand it inside out? Would you read articles, watch streamers for education, not just to keep up with how the kids speak these days? Would you think about how you like the game, study mulliganing, record and review games you won or lost to work out why? And what do you think, guys? How important is it for you to get better at Hearthstone? Still a podcast at the top of my priority listening list. Keep up the good work. Regards, Aquila. So, what do you gentlemen think of this question?
Who do you want to go first?
Autumn Spain?
I have 3 words. Casual.
Joe Wall.
I am not interested in doing most of what he said, even though all of those things would clearly make me a better player. I just want to have fun. And I don't
just want to have fun.
I don't care if I lose more than I ordinarily would. I'm not trying to make money with the game. I'm not trying to stroke my epeen. I'm just playing to have fun.
To have fun. And, you know,
Yeah.
and on that line, I like doing my quests, and I like doing, trying in the brawls, doing different things. So I would not want to stick to one deck and just tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak and perfect this one deck, because I want to play my rogue deck when I have to and play my warlock deck when I have to. And if a hunter quest comes up, well, I'm not great at a hunter, but I still want to play my hunter. And if I'm so focused on doing nothing but making myself better at this deck, that's not where my fun lies. My fun lies in the casual. So that's my take on it.
Besides, there's
Ugly
too
Brute?
much else to do. There's other games. There's World of Warcraft. There's Hearthstone. There's Heroes of the Storm.
That would make it like a
there-
job. If
there's
I'm
life.
sitting there, yeah, if I'm reading articles and watching streamers and taking notes and rewatching my games and studying them, I play Warcraft hard, and I'm a raider, and I like being a raider, and I'm not a hardcore raider, and I was for a while. But even as a hardcore raider, I never got into number crunching, and to me, this would be the same as number crunching.
Ugly Brute.
Well, I agree. Like, I personally now would say that I'm a casual player because I enjoy playing Hearthstone regardless of what rank I'm at, which sounds like something you say if you've got a rank you're not happy with.
It
But, but I have been serious about Hearthstone in past seasons, so I can understand where what's the name of our friend that's sent in the email?
Aquila?
Aquila. I can understand where Aquila's coming from. I would say that trying to perfect one deck is a little bit of a mistake, because the best way to play Hearthstone is to get used to all the classes. So you really do need to play your share of, if you want to take it serious, you need to play your share of all classes to get
So
to know
you
how
know
they
what's
work.
coming at you.
Or at least
Exactly,
8 of them.
and you know the weaknesses of them. But you definitely want to spend more time on the deck that you actually like and that you're trying to get the mulligans right for and things like that. Like you said, watching streams is an awesome idea, especially the streams that are educational. A lot of the popular streamers actually just sit there and just click the buttons and they don't tell you what they're thinking, and that's annoying. But there's some other great streamers out there that will say, look, I'm going to make this move because then on 2 turns time, I can play this card at the right time. And those are great guys to watch. They'll teach you a lot. There's also some websites that have some great puzzles that you can do to practice. They've got little screenshots and you've got to choose the right move, and then it tells you what the right move was and why, and see if you got it right. So there's lots of ways that you can fine tune your game if you do want to take it seriously for a season.
That's true. True. But I would not be doing that because I like the way I play. I don't want to
Absolutely.
be. Yeah, I don't want to work. I mean, I do want my decks to work, and I do tweak them every time new cards come out, and I do work with them. But I can't just sit down and study them. I just don't have time, and I want to enjoy. That's not the way I enjoy things. I think there are gamers out there who want their decks to rock the boards and to get to legend and will work and work and work, and that's how they find their enjoyment. But that's why they wouldn't be listening to our podcast.
And you know, there's 2 people playing this game at one time. So, in theory, 50% of the time you will win and 50% of the time you will lose. Now, obviously, if you're better or really terrible, those odds are skewed. But I'm perfectly content to be at above 50% win rate, which I am. And that's good enough for me. The other guy deserves to win now and then, too. You know, where some players, they'll go, and play and like, I shouldn't have lost that game. I'm like, why not? Sometimes you lose.
Yeah, it's all where your level of fun is, I think.
Yeah, there's no
And
right
if
or
you're
wrong answer, really, is there?
right,
It's each to
exactly.
their own. It's each to their own.
Yeah. Because if you like doing I'll call it the number crunching. If you like doing the number crunching and that's where you have it and that's how you want to better yourself, then that's the way to do it for you. So it is very personal. His next email was, yes, another email. Hello again. I'm writing again after playing this week's Tavern Brawl. The spells spawn minions 1. For the first time, the spells. I'm not sure what he meant. I think something got squished in his email. For the first time, I didn't like the fight given. I share Autumn's Bane's slight dissatisfaction at having to spend the time putting a deck together for a challenge that you might only take on once, all for a single pack of cards. This time it took me about 7 attempts to win the first game, and by then I was getting pretty frazzled. Actually, Autumn's Bane, this sounds like you last week. What it showed me was that I was prepared to play the game beyond the point at which I was enjoying it in order to get the free reward. But even when I got the free reward, I felt I was liking the game less afterwards. I played WoW for quite a while, but I quit when I experienced the same feeling, the grind. I felt like I had to play to get the reward, but this feeling tainted my enjoyment of the game to the point that I eventually stopped. I'm wondering if the Tavern Brawl will have the same effect on Hearthstone for me, or if it gives you this feeling every few weeks. Any views? Regards, Aquila. Personal, again, in that this was a bad week for you, Aquila. I'm sorry, the 7 attempts is horrible, that it took you so long, that it got to the frazzling point, and it was not like that with Autumn's Bane this week. He was rocking it from the start, but Autumn's Bane 2 weeks ago, this was you saying the exact same thing. I think it just all depends on what you're getting.
No, I don't. None of these did that to me. I won all of my games pretty quickly.
Which was the one that took you 10 wins and losses, I mean? Wait, that was Nax.
That was Nax. Not Nax, that was Blackrock Mountain.
Blackrock Mountain.
Ugly Brute, you want to say something?
I just want to share a dirty little secret with everybody.
We're waiting.
And that is, if you're playing a brawl and you're not enjoying it and you just want to get the cards, what you can do is you can go to a website called Hearthpwn, and they will have decks there that top players have put together for that brawl. And let me tell you, you play one of those just once, and even semi-blindfolded, you'll probably win.
You can also cheat.
Exactly.
You can brawl against a friend.
That's true.
Can
too,
you?
But
I know you can, but that doesn't.
But I don't
that
know if
doesn't
you'd
give
win
you the
that
reward.
way.
Oh,
that doesn't
okay.
give you the reward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice thinking, though. Nice thinking.
Kind of sleazy thinking, but yes. Yeah, and Ringo also in the chat room said if you struggle with the Tavern Brawl, you should visit the web for deck suggestions. And a couple of weeks ago, I said I was having a lot of trouble, and I wound up going to a website for the first time ever and creating a mage deck exactly like that was suggested and winning. So yeah, if it gets to the point where it's getting you frustrated and you just want the damn deck and the damn card pack and want to go back to playing and having fun, just play with somebody else's deck. There you go.
But I think we're missing some of the overreaching theme in his email, and it's not just about the brawls. It's
that
about
he's worried he's
playing.
Gonna get bored.
No, playing to the point of frustration, not boredom. Do you keep playing? It's like right now I'm trying to get flying in Draenor, and I'm banging my head against trying to find these stupid rare items so I can get this rep, so I can get my flying mount. And if I had to do this for a prolonged period of time, I know I'll only have to do it for a week or two. But if I had to do that for 6 months, that game would be in the trash. Yeah, when the game becomes a grind, it is frustrating and it's time to move on. And for a period during Cataclysm, I went and I tried out Rift when Rift opened up. Played Rift for a few months, went back to WoW. Sometimes you just need a break. You don't quit forever, but you need a break. Fortunately, with Hearthstone, you could break for just 3 or 4 days and come back and feel refreshed.
But also, at the point where people start getting bored and frustrated like this, there is going to be an expansion in a couple of weeks, and it'll revitalize things again. So I think that the frustration that he may be feeling, getting frazzled and feeling like he's starting to work at this, might completely disappear when the new cards come out, and it's like shining up the diamond again. Or the
Another thing
silver.
as well, I don't know whether you guys agree with me on this, but have you got the saying in America, just go loosey-goosey?
I
Mhm.
think I've heard that from time to
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I find that, especially in Hearthstone, I find that if you're not too stressed out, if you're not worrying about winning or getting a certain thing, you actually do play a little bit better because you don't get as salty, you don't get as wound up about things, and you can actually focus on the moves a lot clearer. So I think with some goals, I think don't make them too specific. Just say, look, I want to play X amount of games today, and see where I am after that, or something like more so than saying, look, I want to win 5 games today. Say I'm going to play 5 games today. You know, don't make the goals so specific.
Yeah, Black Lace. If she loses 3 in a row, she quits for a few hours,
Right.
and
Yeah, and that's a good
then comes
idea. That's a
back.
good idea.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it's just a card pack that you get for Brawl, so walk away from it if it's driving you crazy.
But the best part is it's free to play. It's not like you're paying a subscription for WoW. You got frustrated with WoW, so you stopped paying. With Hearthstone, you could pick it up again at any time. You never have to spend a penny. So money is not even a motivating factor there.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to wrap up a little bit more quickly. Just a couple more things to talk about, and then we're going to talk about the tourney. I had 2 wonderful iTunes reviews this week. I want to thank from the United States iTunes review. CP Mullen sent us just a wonderful review that I would like to read. Where the Opponent is a great podcast for the casual Hearthstone players. Autumn's Bane, Black Lace, and the new host from the land of snakes and spiders talk through the current news and basics of gameplay. If you're casual and trying to play better or new to Hearthstone, A Worthy Opponent is a must subscribe. If you're new, make sure to go back and listen to the past episodes about specific cards and classes. Thank you guys and gal for a great show. Thank you for a really, really nice iTunes review. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was
Ben, you
awesome.
have one also. Yes.
Yes.
Very,
Even though Micmac is off the show, he still kind of sends us things from time to time. And we used to play this game where we would go through iTunes, kind of like an iTunes roulette, and look and see what different countries had to say about us. And he came across one from the Netherlands. It's apparently from April, but it was a 5-star review from Betaho, if I'm saying that right. But it's like the best under 10-word review I've ever seen for us. He goes, I am not a casual player, but still love this show. That's nice.
Awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you. Who said that?
I think I would pronounce it Betaho, but
Betaho.
he's the only guy in the Netherlands to give us a review, good or bad. So,
Yeah,
hey,
and
we
very
have a
nice.
5-star rating in all of the Netherlands.
Woohoo!
Hats
All
off
right.
to him. Thank you.
Definitely. All right, now the last of the news is our tournament in August taking place. Spain.
Yes, the August 8th, I have sent out the invitations. So if you've ever been on our email list, if you've ever written to us, you're on that email list, you have gotten an invitation. And 15 people signed up already. So I'm just going to read them off real quick. If you think you responded and you're not on this list, then something went wrong. Contact us again. But CA Explorer, Crosley, Samurai Dad, Ironclad Merc, Carry the Rage, Our Man, Neocron, Deathpone, Breezy, Dork, Gurnoise, Mike and DeFort, Toraxis, Ringo OSU, and Bezalel. Thanks, guys, for signing up. We still have more openings, and we still have more time to sign up. So write us, sign up, and come have fun.
Autumn
August
Spain,
8th.
were you teasing me when you sent me one? Because I received one as well.
You were
you're
on the
already
mailing
in our
list.
Right. You're going to get one from the mailing list.
Oh, I
Besides-
thought you were just trolling me.
No, didn't you want to see the invitation that everyone got? I thought as part of the podcast you would want to be, privy
In
to
the
that.
know.
I thought you just wanted
And
to, pour some lemon juice in that wound that I couldn't be a part of it anymore.
No, I put salt first in the paper cut, then lemon juice.
so respond to us by August 1st. And Anna's been digital caffeine in our chat room right now. Hasn't
That's
gotten
an
one.
awesome name.
Isn't that great? So I told him to email us. Keep an eye out for his email or her email. Anyway, so that is it. Wrapping up again, there's going to be no limit. And here's the cool thing. While they're announcing the expansion, it doesn't mean it's actually coming out on the 22nd. So we don't know whether or not we'll have cards all of a sudden appearing in August. It'll probably show up right after the tournament if I guess correctly. Either of you guys have anything else to say?
Yes, I want to shout out to Micmac for continuing to help us.
Live stream.
What we're seeing on the live stream in Twitch is actually something sent from Micmac. So thanks for continuing to support us, even though you're supposed to be busy with your wife and school.
And walking your dog.
A shout out to Awesome City Limits. They actually liked us on
Yes!
Facebook. I went and sought them out and liked them as well, but that's kind of nice that they give us their
awesome.
music and they liked us. So shout out to Awesome City Limits.
I've got to say something about the Awesome City Limits song. I was playing normal game today in Hearthstone, and the music started with the little flippy thing that comes and stops at Worthy Opponent. And when it stopped in my head, because we play it every week, I started hearing their fiddle music. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm expecting it to play in game now.
You know, sometimes I'm in the house and I hear the Hearthstone music playing in my head, and I'm like, did I leave my computer on? And I'll look and it's off. It's just playing in my head because I'm so used to hearing it so often.
Kind of sad.
Yeah, I think
Stuck in your
this
brain.
game is driving me to see a psychiatrist.
Yeah. And on that note, again, please send us your decks. Please send us your embarrassing moments in Hearthstones. And again, we still would love to hear the really cool plays of the week, if you have any.
And embarrassing ones.
I said that. That was what I said first.
I'm just saying. And
You're not listening.
We got to make Ugly Brute feel worthy.
Exactly. I hope I'm not just talking about my embarrassing moments every week, or else I'm going to be really embarrassed.
Well, the embarrassing thing was I mentioned about 3 or 4 of my own embarrassing moments, not realizing that I had them. So where does that put me? All right, guys.
Guys, can I just say something really quick?
Sure.
I just want to say thank you to everyone that's said hi to me this week. It's been really nice. A lot of people online have said hi and welcome to the show, and it really makes me feel at home, and I appreciate it.
We've gotten a lot of nice reviews from you too, or about you too. It's great having you on the show.
Everyone's really friendly. It's lovely.
Should we tell him that we paid them to do that?
Shh, no, don't tell him.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So you can find us and follow us on Twitter at A Worthy Opponent. You can listen to us live on Monday nights, unless you're in Australia, and then it would be Tuesday mornings. But not to confuse things, Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Twitch TV/Holosuite Media. You can send us an email at awohearthstone@gmail.com. You can send us a review on iTunes or just download us on iTunes. You can find us on Facebook at AWO Hearthstone. You can listen to us on Stitcher Satellite Radio. You can find us on Google Plus, A Worthy Opponent. Special thanks to Holosuite Media and my favorite man behind the curtain, Xander, and his little Igor. We know about Igor. We'll talk to you about that later. And theme music provided by Awesome City Limits. Thank you for liking us on Facebook, but most of all, thank you for letting us play your music at the beginning of the show. As always, I am Blacklace, saying goodbye and happy hearthing.
Bye.
It's really tomorrow where you are.
Yeah.
It is. I've already had breakfast. It's about an hour and a half before lunch.
It's
We'd
20.
be at work already.
It's 20 to 11. It's almost my lunchtime tomorrow. It's
That
hard
kinda
for me
hurts
to
your
wrap
brain.
my brain around this.
I know. There's a lot of rain coming, guys. That's my future prediction for you. A lot of tropical rain.
It's all in the
Because it's
butterfly's
winter down
wings.
here as well. It's winter. It's totally the opposite down here.
It rains in the winter?
Thanks for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of A Worthy Opponent, a production of Holosuite Media. Join us next week at Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And be sure to check holosuitemedia.com, iTunes, and Stitcher Satellite Radio for our remastered shows and more. You can follow us on Twitter at Worthy Opponent. Or if you have any questions or comments, please send an email to awohearthstone@gmail.com. Welcome to our inn.